is legit. We have a legit homicide detective on here with us. The other person is not. We just have to try to figure out which is which here. Now, you can tell Denny's has came up with their aliases here today because we have Lieutenant Columbo on here. Denny's is a massive Columbo fan.
He's got every episode on DVD.
Aww. He does. Okay. And we also have Detective Monk. These are my dad's two favorites, by the way. He's a big fan of both of these. All right. So one of them is a legit homicide detective. The other is a complete and total fraud. We just got to try to figure out who is who. Okay. All right. We'll start off here with Lieutenant Columbo in the first question. Give us the overall broad description of the biggest case you have ever worked on. How many dead and what was the cause of death in that case, Lieutenant Columbo?
That's kind of a difficult one. I would have to probably say the most recent one was involving an incident in Parkland. And that would be on February 14th.
Oh, yes. Okay. All right. So you worked that one. All right. How about you, Detective Monk?
Well, first off, I'd like to say good morning to you. These are tough kind of questions. I would have to say I worked on a case involving 16 deaths on a city bus, which was pretty devastating.
Okay. 16 deaths on a city bus.
Those both sound heavy. I don't know how y'all do what y'all do.
Oh, I know. No, this is a really tough field to be in, to be a homicide detective. So they say those are the two biggest cases that they've been involved with. What is your question here for who is legit homicide detective, Virginia?
That one guy has detective voice. He sounds like
they both do.
It sounds like a cop.
You think one's better than the other?
One sounds better, but then one's information's better.
I've got. I don't know. It's close.
It's a good one.
It's close after round one. What do you think, Virginia? What's yours?
All right. Tell me your take on internal affairs investigations. How do you feel about them?
Okay, we'll start with Detective Monk.
How do I feel about internal affairs? Could you, and again, I'm coming off of an all-nighter right now. Can you be a little more specific for me on what do you specifically mean there on that? I'm not trying to be.
No, sir, we're sorry she's being so difficult. She's really tanking this bit. It would be a lot smoother if she didn't talk.
Yeah, maybe you should book her. I mean, like, specifically the people that do the investigations and how all that is set up and that whole thing. It's fascinating to me that there's a department of the police that's in charge of making sure the police investigate themselves and do things the right way. I'm just fascinated by all that.
I mean, I'm familiar with it. I understand where you're coming from, but it's not a focus of my specific daily duties. It's not part of my routine. I've never been involved in being investigated myself. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, I mean, I do take the right path with my career, and so I mean, it's not something I've ever been involved in. I know of it, and I mean, I think it's a good thing. It is. It keeps us all where we need to be. It keeps us on track. It keeps the good guys in and the bad guys out, and that's. I mean, I know it sounds terrible.
That's okay.
It wasn't a great question. It was not a great question, officer.
Do you have an answer for that, Lieutenant Columbo, about internal affairs? He just
with regards to internal affairs, as long as I'm not a target of that investigation, I really don't have a great opinion on internal affairs. So
gotcha. Okay.
Boy. All right. That really didn't go anywhere. Who's the bit killer now?
All right,
Okay.
Jaybird, do you have a question for our homicide detectives
I
here?
do. Let me set this up. It's
Yeah.
going to be a little role playing. Now, I am suspected of committing a murder, and you know that I've done it, and you got me on the ropes. I want you both to give me your little spiel, what you would do to try to get me to crack, where I go, yeah, I did it. I did it. Give me
A tactic that
Yeah.
you might use to get someone a little confused to trip up to make a confession.
Well, just you're turning up the heat on me. You're putting the screws to me. I want to hear how you guys would do it. I'm the murderer. Give it to me.
Okay, we'll go with Lieutenant Columbo first. A questioning tactic you might use.
Role playing now, like I'm really the criminal.
I think what I'm going to do first is I'm going to gain your confidence, your trust. I'm going to talk to you a little bit and make you feel comfortable with me. And then I'm going to kind of push out that, that it really wasn't, you didn't commit this murder. It was an accident, that you accidentally did that, and accidents happen. And
Well, I mean, I wasn't anywhere near the dead body, Lieutenant. I was nowhere near that. People know where I was at.
Maybe you were blacked out and you were on drugs and you didn't know what you were doing. So maybe you forgot that you were there.
I might have been a little blacked out.
But it's whiskey.
Yes, what's
Correct. It might have been the alcohol that
Yeah.
that made you do it.
Okay, Detective Monk, what would you do here? You've got this guy. He's done it. You believe it. Try a little tactic on maybe trying to switch things around on him so he would actually admit to the crime.
You got me on the ropes.
I mean, there's a lot of variables here. I mean, again, like what Detective Columbo said, I mean, that is...
Y'all doing it wrong. You're all supposed to act like it's happening. You're supposed to role play with me. I'm the criminal. How would you talk to me in the moment?
What did you do?
A murder.
See, I've already done it. You hear him talking?
Yeah, I've already done it. He just admitted. There you go.
I've already done tactic one. Which
It's
is what
over.
I'm talking.
Both
Damn
of
it.
them.
You just admitted to it.
They got
No,
me.
they're not doing it right. I did a murder. Okay, I'm finised. All right, congratulations.
You guys are-
You know what? I need a lawyer.
Okay, all right. We're trying to get through here. I don't know. I'm actually very confused now. Going in, neither question's provided a lot of clarity here.
You got the balls to accuse me of doing a bad job.
By doing that little role playing,
Yeah.
I already got my answer.
Oh, you do?
Oh,
Okay.
big time.
I am going to ask another one here. I'm still not dialed in on who is legit here. We're looking for which one of these two gentlemen is really a homicide detective. My question is, what would you say is the most valuable tool of your trade? The thing that you need the most being a homicide detective. What is your answer, Lieutenant Columbo?
Nowadays, it's going to be DNA testing. That is by far our best evidence that we need.
Okay. And Detective Monk, do you have a different answer?
I'm going to go with just basic data, the cell phone, GPS tracking. I'm going to go with the social media. I solve a lot of cases through social media. You would not believe how many of these criminals are willing to put so much information out there.
Wow.
Okay.
I don't know who it is. Do you?
They both are pretty legit right now. I think I got one that's in a slight lead. Okay. Do you want to ask another question here, Virginia, of who is legit?
Oh, that's a big...
No, sir. I rest.
Jaybird, anything else?
I just want to do more role playing questions.
This isn't your bedroom.
I'm kidding. No, I think I got my answer.
You got your answer?
I got my answer. I'm ready to go.
Okay. My final question, I just wanted one more here because I am kind of tied on this. What is your roundabout annual salary? How much could you make as a homicide detective? I'll ask you first, Detective Monk.
I average realistically with bonuses. I'm somewhere in that 56,000 a year area.
Okay.
That's just me, not counting my wife.
Gotcha. Okay. And how about you, Lieutenant Columbo?
I would say it ranges between 100 and 150,000 a year.
Okay. All right. Which one of these two guys do you think is legit?
Easy.
Really?
The role playing question blew it out of the water.
All right, which one is it?
It's the first gentleman,
What's his name?
Lieutenant Columbo.
Okay, you think it's Lieutenant Columbo.
It's definitely Columbo, because when Virginia asked that terrible question, he went on a very long, boring. It was definitely it's him.
Virginia, who do you think it is? Is it the first guy, Lieutenant Columbo, or Detective Monk?
Well, I agree with the bird, but not for the same reasons about my boring question and the boring answer.
Well, it was just more confusing, I should say.
I think it's Columbo, but I'm just guessing. I think they both did a great job.
They did a great job.
They both sounded like detectives.
Yeah, no, I think they did a great job.
And I don't know what detectives make.
And they both had very radically different answers. One said 56K, one was like well over 100.
And the tools of the trade, they both brought up great things. DNA is awesome. I watched Dateline. DNA is awesome, but also the cell phone pinging is very important. The phone records are very important on Dateline.
The one guy had good detective voice. He really did. But was his voice too detective?
Okay. All right, here we go. I am going to go with Lieutenant Columbo as well. So that's 3. Lieutenant Columbo, are you the legit homicide detective?
Yes, I am.
Whoa, we got it. We got
So
lucky.
you guys got me on that first question. It was probably the giveaway.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought too. That was the most telling. Very nice. Well, Detective Monk, you did a fantastic job coming on here and acting today. We really appreciate it.
Not a problem, and I'm glad to hear he's making well over $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
What agency are you
A
with?
lot of hours put in, though. A lot of hours for that.
Okay.
But you deserve
guys
it.
know it or not, I am a
hours.
resident.
Not very much.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, you got a nice, fun profession to do for Who Is Legit. You can send us an email, mail@kvjshow.com, mail@kvjshow.com.